Greetings. We're we're the Demonic Pigeon team. We come from Greece. This is our first international Age of Sigmar tournament.
Yeah.
Um, we're very excited. The atmosphere was great. We had tons of fun. You know, all my opponents were great. I feel very nice, and no matter the results, I feel good, and I had fun and all that. Um, this is John, my teammate.
It's John in English, it's Giannis in Greek. Uh, so I started playing like 1.5 years ago with Seraphon. He's the guy that taught me how to play, by the way. Yeah, he's my senpai, my master.
Well,
um, I'm 27 years old. It's my first time, obviously, and we had such a great time. Like for us, even getting into the room and seeing all these armies together, I was overwhelmed by joy because the tournament that I've been through before is like 20 people, and that happened once. So most of the times we're not that many, but we like it a lot. So even getting inside there and seeing all those armies, all those people, I was already happy from the first moment. And I also get to play with Paul Buckler the first game, which I knew him and following through was a great game. Like some really big charges, one priority, and we were like in the end, whoa, my head hurts. So it started perfectly. A minor loss, but perfect feeling. Like yes, Seraphon vs Seraphon. Like this is what I came for, having awesome matches, and the first one was really awesome. All the guys was great. It was a really like with three of the out of the five, I could go to the toilet and let them play alone. Like it was like they were perfect. Um,
well, we have done in the past team tournaments in Greece, and in the era of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but also we had two in Age of Sigmar. Our guild, the Demonic Pigeons, have organized two tournaments called Guild Wars, and basically you take your friends, form a team, and go. And it was similar to this in a way that each team had 4 players, and we used the venue of an old theater and made a tournament there, which was nice. But in Greece we are few. There are people that play, of course, according to the population, because we are few as a country. But there are not so many tournament players. So there are people who play but like to play more casually with their friends on their homes. So the tournament scene is very limited. As such is our meta. So to come here and see all these different armies, thought processes, how to build an army, how to use an army. For example, my first battle was with Lori, one of the masters with Sylvaneth, and I also own Sylvaneth, and he used a battalion ability and the spell on Alariel in a way that I hadn't thought. There is a battalion that allows you to redeploy a bunch of units of Dryads and Branch Wraiths, and I always thought to use it as a way to retreat, but in actuality he used it as a way to deploy, which was awesome, and you didn't have to use all the mini rules about the forest. You just put them there and yeah,
there we go.
however you want. And because you're one drop, you get to do that almost every single time. So that was a revelation to me, and I believe that is one of the things one can take from such tournaments as an experience. New ways to play, new ways to have fun, meet new friends, of course, and I think that's important. I use a very typical Gabriel Surhard list of Hammers of Sigmar. My initial plan was to go with Idoneth, but I could not make the 2.5 week painting session for Idoneth.
He got overwhelmed.
Stormcast were easier. Well, I tried to maximize on what the Stormcast have, so it was 2 units of 10 evocators, 1 unit of 20 sequitors, 2 units of 5 sequitors, the Cleansing Phalanx Battalion, a Lord Arcanum on foot, a Knight Vexillor, so with the ability to teleport 1 unit once per game, which was pivotal because it's a slow army, and once you commit, you really can't go to places and claim objectives or do things. So having this teleport was very useful. And also I have used an item which I didn't use in all of my 5 battles, but it was a nice idea. I use Hyper Snare something, which is from the Realm of Life, and the idea was that at the end of the opponent's shooting phase, you choose a unit within 8 inches of the character and roll a dice. On a 5+, that unit doesn't get to charge. So, if someone puts their screen, you charge with the character that has the artifact, and once you clean the screen, in the following turn, when the other guy will try to countercharge you, you have one shot, 1 out of 3, to shot one of his biggest units.
Sat his ground, basically.
Didn't use it, but
good idea.
In theory, it was a good plan. Yeah. Apart from the final game, played with Dan, the UK master. Yeah.
That was a good battle. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. My army was splashed like a wave on a rock.
Oh yeah, I told him even before we start, when I started 1.5 years ago, I never knew about TGA yet. But I found Lustria by Googling, and I was following his writing articles with advices and all that, and it was super useful for a new player because Seraphon has so many synergies. Like, the problem is not the many rules, it's that each one of them happens in a different phase. Like, buff the jaws for the Carnosaur, 8 inches hero phase, reroll once for Croxigors, 3 inches the skinks from the Croxigor on the combat phase, the teleport on the hero phase, everything blood roll. After movement phase or after charge phase, you need to be within 8. So most of the distances have different numbers and they happen in different phases. Yeah. So basically, in my first, I don't know, maybe 7 months, having playing with, he's a really good player in my opinion, and he was never taking me easy. I only have major losses, like I couldn't do it, I forgot half of my rules, or I couldn't find a way to make it work, or it worked, but the armies that work more straightforward, they just keep trusting me. Like my captain, our captain, that plays Chaos, he's playing for like 17 years, really experienced. In our first tournament battle, he was like, okay, you go. I knew that he had the Bloodletter bomb with the fly, with the Sail the Faithless. I didn't move because, okay, that's a bad thing. I can't go. He still came and he killed my whole army, 2 Bastiledons at the time, 40 warriors. I was getting trust all the time. It's like, because if you do a misplacement on the first phase of the battle, half an inch might cost you the game. Or the Jungors last year with Jinx, run and charge. When if you forget any of the rolls for Kairos and all that, you instantly lose. You'll be losing half your army. So
and he never forgave his mistakes. That was one of my main advices. You made a mistake, go with it. Don't take it back, because you won't remember.
Yes. And that helped a lot actually. And I never leave home without this one. I love it. It's full of mistakes. These pages are full of mistakes.
It's like a diary.
Yep. Seriously. Yeah. Once I've left my home without it, 10 minutes drive, I went back and then went to True. I can't live without it. Yep.
That's important. That's good.
So my list then.
Yeah.
Okay. So Slant Star Master, With the incandescent rectuses on the 3+, I get D6 wounds back. A Scar Veteran on Carnosaur with Sword of Judgment. So on 60 to hit, D6 mortal wounds. He has 6 attacks. So the idea is, the trait for the slam is Vast Intellect. Use the Skink spells. So -1 to hit, someone's highlight, and change Curse of Fate on a 4+. You get to choose 1 dice, and either increase or decrease by 1. So the main idea was, 1, to use it for an important unit that has to teleport, in order to have 1 to 6 not to teleport. On the 2+, you make it 3. He still gets to move, and 50% on the 4+, it gets 5. I get teleport and move. Or and on the Carnosaur, I get to use it in the Sword of Judgment, 6 attacks. So 1, 6, 1, 5. I get the 5, 6. So 2d6 per round. It didn't hit any heroes this tournament. It was always against Battle Line. Yeah, but it was a good idea.
In theory,
it does work, but those matches were that way that I had to use them on other ways. And also Blood Roar. It still works on the Blood Roar. So you roll a dice, you have 10 bravery, you just lost 1 model. You still have to roll it. If I roll more than you, extra D3 models flee. If you're an idiot player, it's a really important thing, or an Nurgle. So, and I also have the Curse of Fate. You roll a 3, I roll a 4. Or if I roll a 4 without it, D3 models flee. So I roll the D3. If it's a 4, instead of 2, you lose 3. I make it a 5. Many synergies. Like, so, you stack up synergies,
we
basically.
had a whole 2-3 days conversation about how the fuck to make the Scar Veteran or Carnosaur matter.
Yeah. It's a lovely model, but
it is a very weak war scroll.
It doesn't do anything. But with the Blood Roar,
Sword of Judgment, Curse of Fate, it can murder any hero on monster. It has very good chances.
So, and also 12 wounds for 3 plays of arcane power. So like, okay, because I love the model, but I couldn't use it. It's too weak. It doesn't work. But in this environment, it does work. It's not the best. It's overpriced, let's say, but it works. It's fine. I enjoy it. And then, so Shadow Strike, a Star Priest, 10 skinks, 20 skinks, and 12 Pterodon Riders. All right. So, should I say what the battalion does? Should I say about the battalion? Yeah. So the battalion does 3 things. 1, pre-battle movement, really important. If you're a Sylvaneth player on the other side, you get to push your models in front, so the forests get to be left behind. You can make a bigger screen, it's really good. Or redeploy. Like with Darren in the last game, I do the pre-movement aggressively. And he used the Belagor's ability that on the Pterodons, that I have to do a 4+ for everything, for movement, for shooting. So like, okay, this is a bad thing. So I didn't throw the Pterodons the first round, and I redeployed the skinks back in my movement phase. So I moved pre-battle, and then ended up right where I was, really far behind. So I didn't lose anything that turn. So it's really useful, the pre-battle movement. Then the Skink Star Priest, the leader, he has to see something, no range, so it's global, really easy. All the battalion gets reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. The Pterodons as well. And the third one, the most important one, the most impactful one, the Pterodons drop 3 inches from you. They get the rerolls on the shooting attacks, hits and wounds, and they get to move. So I have a threat of 7 inches, well, 6.9, to throw the bombs. So on the 4+ for each Pterodon, D3 mortal wounds.
12.
Yeah, on average it's 12 mortal wounds. It works really well. It has a really good area of effect. It threatens your opponent. It makes him castle up, and even sometimes he cannot. Like on the 4th match, I had this really, really great guy. Let me check. Andy, really great guy. He did well on the placement, but if he wanted to score, he still couldn't cover his Arcane. So I dropped the bombs, and Arcane was taken off right after I played. So it gives a really huge area of effect threat, and has a really good impact. And also, on the round that they drop, they have 4 and 4. From the war scroll, they get to reroll everything. On the wound roll, they get +1. So it's 4 and 3s, rerolling everything on the round they have. So I had some shooting, combat, and more importantly, mortal wounds. What else? 10 skinks more, of course, and 9 Croxigors. Okay, so that's another unit that it's a bit expensive. Let's not lie, but I love the model. Yeah, I love them. So as he's saying always, either go deep or don't go at all. So I was thinking of 3 and 6. They don't work. 9. It was my only unit. They do two things. One, they threaten the horde because they
It's
have
a horde meta, really.
Yes, it's a horde meta, and they threaten the horde because they have no rend. Most of them, 6 of them, but they get 4 attacks, 4s and 3s. Rerolling once if you have the strings within 3, so you have to be careful there. But you usually have it after you practice a lot. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I fucked up so many times. Yeah.
Trial and error.
So 4s and 3s, 4s attacks,
Mostly error.
and everything is 2 damage, so which is good. And the moon hammers, so 2 inch range of the same unit. If there are like from the 3 moon hammers 17 models, I get 7 attacks. 25. It's bad against elite armies. It doesn't work. But the most important reason was not to kill hordes, was to actually have a unit that can stay, because Seraphon
To tank.
we're glass cannons. My best save is a 4-up, and the whole army has a 5-up. Even Croxgors have 4-up, but doesn't ignore they don't ignore rend, so it's a 5-up with a rend. But at least it's 36 woods, and they have 10 bravery. They're not going anywhere. So it gave me the most important role for the Croxigor was stay where you are. Like, I'm not going away from here. It's gonna be tougher than, oh, you touch me, I'm dead. Because the Pterodons are like 5-up, 3 wounds, okay, but not ignore rend. So yeah, and I'm not the best in rolling 6s on saves, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, there was a time where he rolled.
I just realized.
I can't even remember how many times he rolled 1 for the teleport of the Seraphon, especially in the previous edition. It was a nightmare.
So in the previous edition,
Once,
it was
all the time.
it was only 1 that you didn't get to teleport. 2 and 5 you get, 6. Okay, in my first 24 teleports, first 24 battles, 15 ones. I'm like, what the what is going on? So there's no statistics, just randomness.
all the time.
But yeah, but you know, you adapt. So okay, I roll lots of ones. I do that. So what did I do? I made an army that reroll hit rolls of 1. Yeah, it worked. It worked. Like on my 3rd game, I rolled 17 wounds with the Croxigors. I had 9 ones. I had the reroll from the Skinks. It went great. Like, yeah. So you adapt to your dice, you know? Since it happens, it happens.
I think we've seen lots of different styles, and there's a thought process, because, you know, the powerful war scrolls are the powerful war scrolls. If you want to play in a tournament, you want to play competitive, you will have, if you play Indoneth, you will have to use the eels. You know, you can't make an army otherwise. But
Scar veteran, don't listen to him.
How you'll use them, how many models each unit will have, their role, that can change, and that can make quite a bit of difference between. You may see. You know, I played another guy today who had Sylvaneth, and his lists were similar, not the same, with Loris. But the way they played was very different, and it made a huge difference. So, just by being in contact with players from another country, used in another meta, makes all the difference, even if the lists are not that much different. But we've seen different. For example, the list John played against on the last game, which had Be'lakor, Keros Fate Weaver,
Yes.
all the Chaos Nasties, you know. It was a very unique list. So I found it very interesting as an opponent to see such lists and games, and, you know.
Yeah, like I haven't even seen half of the models on the table before. But Darren was really kind to tell me everything. He came to my side and like, okay, let's go through my list, because I had no clue. Of the few players so far, nobody has Skaven, so I've never seen Skaven before, and that was a really special list. Like so many different stack ups. It was really interesting. So yeah, it was a perfect experience. Like you get to see so many different things, and I guess that since they get to meet so many players in so many tournaments more frequently than us, like every two weekends, if you're from UK, you can go to an awesome tournament, you know. it was obvious. Like with Paul Buckler on the first turn, I was so amazed. He didn't pre-measured once, and he was always outside of the pterodon bombs.
He's a groupie.
Always. Like I was like, wow. Doesn't he need to check? Is it like 4? So yeah, it was really interesting. And I should also say that that surprises my opponents. So this is another. There were some battles of me, not in this tournament, but that was really important, especially against death units, like the heroes that are the key units. That my opponent screened really well. So I was outside of 6.9. I have 14 movements, so I couldn't use it. So I used run. I didn't shoot, I didn't combat, but all I had to do on 3 places for King Power was kill the character. So I used the run, and then suddenly I have a 20 threat. So I go 18 inside to drop the bombs. And everyone is amazed every time. Their face was like, oh, yes, you can do that. So you have a character within 6. So if you don't roll high enough, you just spend the command point. And also, the birds. This happened with Darren as well. I rolled the 1 and 1. This is like the 7th time the birds 3 inches away roll 1 and 1. You have to be prepared. It happens. It's 1 and 36, but it happens a little bit more frequent than 136. It's random. You never know. So don't risk it. Because if pterodons don't get to attack on the round they drop, they lost the wound, but it's 3 inches away from the opponent. Hello. 5 flash. Not ignoring run. Hello. So yeah.
I believe team tournaments are much more exciting because you are with your friends and you get to cooperate, which is not very easy. You know, there are sometimes one member of the team must take a bad matchup so the others can thrive. So you have to be humble, you have to think of the others, you have to think of the team. You have to take one for the team sometimes, because the team must win. It doesn't matter if you lose.
Yeah.
If the other 3 guys win, it's good. You're good. So it's much more difficult and challenging to orchestrate the team because you can't have all players play a close combat army, a pure close combat army. You have to be versatile. So it is like a symphony of destruction you have to create, When you are a single player, you don't have all these. You make your list, you try to make it so that you can face most of the army list there are, so you have more chances. So while I enjoy both, and actually John and I may be going to hit 3
we'll
try our luck. I think that the team tournaments are the best experience.
So don't get me wrong. We love solo tournaments as well. But okay, so I don't know. I haven't participated in other team tournaments ever. But
One more.
I mean, like in the international. We had really good rules on our team tournament, but the 50 cap and the 100 cap, and especially the 30-point cap of each player, I think it makes it amazing.
Brilliant.
Because you might have a truck in your team, but it doesn't matter. Okay, you can take a major win. The side objective don't matter. You won't get more. So you really have to be a team. You don't proceed without the rest of you. You can't be like, oh, I'm a one-team player. No. It's a team tournament. It was really great because like, oh, how did you do? How did it work out? Like, at one round, we got 3 major wins and 1 minor loss, but that was the cap. It didn't matter. He lost, but the things went as planned. Like, it's really nice. Everyone has to go really well. The 30-point cap, also the team cap, but especially the 30-point, I think it's a great rule. It makes it really, really interesting, really good, and that's how we ended up like 6 tables. Before the last game, Ninja Badgers had 160. We had 155 along with other 2 teams.
360.
Fiction with Benjamin Savage had 145 and one more 135, because that's how it happens. Your truck doesn't get more points than you. So everyone ended up really close, and it's really exciting. I can't wait to see what happened. We don't know yet. So yeah, it was perfect. I think that's why I also prefer team tournaments. But yeah, I love solo tournaments as well. Half of my tournaments in Greece, I've been packing until like 4 o'clock in the morning because the Seraphon, before I magnetized, you cannot carry them. The birds, the Scar veteran, the skinks, everything has a different size. It's a bit of a problem. No, so I keep having lots of paper wrap and all that, and I also work long hours. So half of my tournaments, 4 hours of sleep. But you know, I was too excited to not miss it.
That at the evening of Friday, we were in the hotel room painting.
Oh.
Yeah, because he didn't make it.
I started in August. I was like, there were so many weekends that I didn't go out in order to wake up early, and I did. But I love painting. This is what it got me to the hobby. So I was like reading how to be better, reading color theories. Oh, how should I make this sim? How I want to be a little bit different. How should I base them to be a little bit special? You know. So lots of trial and error. Many months of trial and error.
So I think it's a road trip, the meetings, all the talking between your teammates, how we'll go about this, what we'll do. You know, yesterday we were very tired, but we went to a pub and drinking beers and see what we will do with a team the next day, and all this is very exciting. You know, it's a very nice feeling.
Oh,
You share the experience.
Yeah.
And another thing we had to do, I've rode for like, maybe 6 hours. When we took the list, we knew that 90% of them, we have no clue. We've never seen them before. So it was like, okay, guys, we're taking this big trip that we're expecting since August. Will we prepare? So I wrote down I dig to search, okay, what does this spell do? What does this ability do? I didn't finish all 96 of them.
So he took notes.
92, because it was like, I work a lot, so it takes time, and I also had to paint, and I have my other hobbies as well, like music. So anyway, it takes time. So, but I think I finished 78, so that was also a really good experience because now I have a better picture of the other armies.
Read all the army books.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's not like I remember everything, but it's not I don't know. Oh yeah, oh this reminds me something. Oh, I know that. Last year, my first year, it was every match. I was almost 1 out of the 3 matches. I was losing from the placement because I haven't realized what the opponent does. He explained me, but when you hear 20 new rules that you've never heard before, and you also have so many rules in your side, I don't really adapt that fast. So yeah, many losses before playing.
You must know the other armies too, not just your own.
And
Because even if the other guy is the best guy in the world and explains everything, it won't sink in.
and this is
5
why.
minutes.
Yeah, now that we're discussing that, your notebook, Rob, actually it's really useful. If like I've read it, the you know the advices for how can you prepare, what can you do, learn your army. Yeah, especially I know that from Seraphon. I wish if you had written it like 1.5 years ago, things would be so much simpler for me. I had him, but you know, we have our real lives getting in the way. We met like frequently, but how many can you teach to a person? But this is written. I can do it in my house.
And he's
it's
not
really
very smart, you know.
Yes, and it's also that I'm dumb, which you know causes trouble. That's an issue. Let's be honest. So this notebook is really useful. Like learn your army, learn your opponent's army. It's really good for being there, and hopefully you know you share the wisdom, which is the best thing for me. That's all there is, like preparing, and this notebook has it like 1, 2, 3. It's bullets. You're not getting lost. Even a newbie can take the advice from it. You know, really good, really good. Thanks.
No, that's lame.
Yeah, we don't give a shit
I love you,
about
Mom.
these guys.